Welcome to this deep dive explainer. Today we're jumping straight into a really fascinating observational record by Tommy Yoshida, who you might also know as Yoshida Tsutomu. We're going to unpack his real-time thoughts, pulling from both the Japanese and international editions of his notes on the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence. And more importantly, we're looking at what this massive shift fundamentally means for how we work and think. But right off the bat, before we get into the weeds, let's establish a really crucial premise directly from Yoshida's own notes. He explicitly states, this channel does not evaluate AI, nor does it teach how to use it, nor does it reach a definitive conclusion. And I love that. Basically, unfinished thoughts, pending questions, and ideas that don't quite have a neat ending are left exactly as they are. We have to remember we are in the middle of a massive transition period right now, so some parts of this observation might feel a bit raw or unresolved, and that is absolutely deliberate. We aren't rushing to conclusions today, we're just observing how language, technology, and human judgment are interacting during this shift. Okay, let's get into it.
So Yoshida poses this central, honestly kind of philosophical question that anchors his entire record. He asks, as AI evolves, what must humans update? We spend so much time obsessing over the AI models updating, right? The software versions changing, the flashy new features rolling out. But this completely flips the script. It sets a beautifully contemplative tone for us. If the machine is constantly updating, what is the human update required just to keep pace?
Well, Yoshida's observation actually started with a very grounded, practical experience. We've probably all been there. He was drafting articles using ChatGPT. Totally routine task for him. And he fully expected that using his usual, reliable instructions, the trusty prompts he had always used would produce the exact same vibe and results he was used to. But suddenly, those reliable prompts just stopped working the way he expected. The output felt, slightly off from the specific atmosphere he was aiming for. And here is the real kicker. You might instinctively think, oh, the AI is acting up, the update broke it, but Yoshida realized something totally different. He notes, the issue wasn't that the AI had become worse. In many ways, it had become better. It wasn't a breakdown or a glitch. Instead, the AI's evolution had fundamentally shifted the implicitly shared premises between the human and the machine. The AI had grown more capable, which basically meant his old way of talking to it was suddenly out of sync.
This grounded everyday experience led him to a really profound realization, and this is a core theme we need to think about today. The lifespan of how-to knowledge is becoming incredibly short. Because AI technology is accelerating at such a breakneck pace, the actual value of static, tactical tips, those massive prompt collections and step-by-step how-to guides, their value is drastically dropping. What worked perfectly yesterday might literally be obsolete tomorrow, simply because the tool itself has fundamentally changed how it behaves.
This brilliantly illustrates the paradigm shift we are all currently facing. The old value was all about knowing specific, magical prompts. It was about chasing this fleeting, highly technical knowledge. But the new value is entirely different. It's about designing human-AI collaboration. It is a major shift away from being a technician who just memorizes command lines toward becoming an architect who designs sustainable, overarching workflows. So how did Yoshida actually react to this shifting landscape? Well, instead of falling into that endless, frustrating trap of tweaking and refining his prompts to chase the AI's new behavior, he took a step back. He decided to redesign the collaboration itself. He stopped trying to hack the command and started looking at the entire holistic process of how he was actually achieving his end goal. To turn this abstract idea into concrete action, he added a highly practical two-step collaborative rule to his daily routine. Step 1. Before drafting any new content, he has the AI thoroughly review his past articles and his established writing style. Step 2. Only after that context is set do they begin writing. It is a remarkably simple workflow adjustment, but it so beautifully grounds his philosophy into a highly practical daily action. And this really gets to the heart of how we define human-AI collaboration. Yoshida didn't just change a prompt. He fundamentally changed how the human operates alongside the AI. True collaboration means taking a step back and deciding exactly what tasks to delegate to the machine, pinpointing exactly where human judgment is absolutely non-negotiable, and then meticulously designing the workflow that bridges those two things together. It's all about structure now, not just inputs. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, if the how-to knowledge is expiring faster than milk, does anything actually stay the same? Yes. Absolutely. While specific operations and technical hacks change rapidly, Yoshida points out that fundamental human skills are going to retain their immense value. Things like clarifying your purpose, organizing the necessary information before you even start typing, and critically evaluating the final results. These are enduring principles. These human elements are what anchor the technology, no matter how much it evolves. Drawing from the core questions posed across both the Japanese and international editions of his notes, Yoshida outlined specific, enduring skills for designing this effective collaboration. We're really looking at four main pillars here: defining roles between humans and AI, designing those collaborative workflows, maintaining sharp critical thinking, and just continuously adapting our way of working. These structural skills are going to far outlast any temporary prompt hack or workaround you might stumble across on social media today. Which brings us to the massive, overarching theme of today's explainer. We are literally crossing the bridge from the era of using AI to the era of collaborating with AI. It is a profound transition in our relationship with digital tools. We are no longer just operators pressing buttons or feeding data into a static machine. We are now collaborative designers, actively architecting how work actually gets done with an evolving, dynamic partner. And that leads us to this incredibly poignant quote from Yoshida's records. He says, "Perhaps the future is not about becoming better at prompting AI. Perhaps it's about becoming better at designing how humans and AI work together." I just want to pause and let that sink in for a second. It's a vital shift in mindset. It's asking us to elevate our perspective from the tactical level of a mere user up to the structural level of a designer. So we arrive at an unclosed question. How are you experiencing this shift? And how will you adapt your own human-AI collaboration? We're honoring Yoshida's original intent here to record an unfinished thought. There is no neat, definitive conclusion to wrap up today, and that's the whole point. As we all navigate this rapid transition period together, I want to leave you with this question to ponder your own place in this ongoing evolution. Start thinking about your workflows, not just your prompts. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.